Hello everyone. Today we'll talk about global networking and awareness for assistance. Remember, when disaster strikes, it strikes a particular region. But believe me or not, that particular region's community might be most affected. But eventually it trickles down to every one of us. So it is the responsibility of a global community, the whole world together to come together and help the affected country, help the affected region in recuperating altogether. And that is what we are going to talk about in global networking and assistance thereby. So this is how we'll proceed. We'll talk about the policy formulation, the implementation, and probably the resource mobilization. And that is how we will talk about it. Remember, the purpose of global network is to increase the social consciousness to build resilient communities by putting interested and concerns of vulnerable people, people who are victim of the disaster, into such effect that there is an overall reduction as far as disaster calamities are concerned. People in the front line of the disaster is at the heart of this concern, heart of the policy. Everything is based keeping them in focus, be it the policy, be it the implementation, be it the formulation, be it the resource mobilization thereby. As Kofi Annan said it, we can achieve far more by working together. Definitely, yes. It's one plus one is not two, but 11. There's a synergy that comes around it. Common objective and joint action enable us to do this. Yes, definitely. Need to proactively invest in these actions to get ahead of the curve. So let me give you a brief history about the global network. Way back, approximately 22 years back, in Kobe, 2005, the civil society statement was a joint statement that was issued in the closing plenary. The official launch of Geneva Globe Platform, Disaster Risk Reduction, as we call it, 2007, and joint non-governmental organization position statement, wherein there were international non-governmental organization, like the Red Cross Society. These are put into focus, and they were the organization who is going to steer drive such initiative. 2007 good practice manual states everything. What they are talking about, we were talking about defined work stream, defined objective, full time chair. That is what we are looking into. The initial funding that we supported around it, we fragmented into international, regional, national, and local committees altogether. Definitely, yes, people at the front line was always at the focus. The affected region, the affected community for every natural disaster or otherwise are to be kept, their interests are to be kept in focus. The impact of Hyogo framework must be on the ground where people at risk live, eat, and work. Affected community, victims, and most vulnerable one to be the focal point. To be successful, the Hyogo framework (HFA) must be supported and delivered both globally and locally. And this is how we go across with it. Communities come together. The federal government comes together, works in tandem with the local government. They in turn work with the local non-governmental organization. What they work upon it, probably resource mobilization. What they work about it, probably providing relief. What they work about it, probably rescue. So what are we looking into it? We are looking into multi-stakeholders policy implementation that requires direct from the top to bottom up approach rather than the push and pull effect. It is there, the global well-being as the heart of this thing. Global review for HFA, Hyogo framework, views from the front line. We need to look through different lenses to establish clear picture of progress for the action, Hyogo framework for action, objective at local level, at the basic level that comes around it. Now, to support HFA or the Hyogo framework at a grassroots level, we need to have an independent global overview of progress, as in the fund allocated, as in the resource allocated, how they have been utilized, consumed. That needs to be monitored, strengthening the public accountability for effective implementation. Enhance civil society ability to measure progress, formulate policy position, and develop collaborative approaches as we are talking about it. Provisional baseline for measures of future progresses as the case might be. What does United Nation International Society for Disaster Relief Hyogo Framework Monitoring Template says? It should be led by UN delegate, UN committee, United Nations committee, independent committee, engage designated national authorities. Definitely yes, there would be nominated people from the affected country, engaging designed national authorities, top-down governmental objective, perspective of international community should be enforced upon it. Hyogo Framework Strategic Goals, 5 priorities of action, drivers for progress as the case might be, process orientation, and online survey, a continuous feedback which is to be appreciated. Establish the architecture to review progress towards implementation of Hyogo framework at the local level. Views from the front line. It's a global overview that we're talking about it. Civil society, engaging local, national, international civil society organizations, CSOs, measuring Hyogo Framework Plus, anything that can be added upon it. Let's say not only providing relief, providing normalizing life, can we sustain a sustainable living? Provide them a livelihood rather than some relief material out there. Cross-cutting issues. Focus on system change at local government, at a social civil society interface, as the case might be. How are we looking at as of today? Core funding, has it been served? To a certain extent? There has been huge donations from various developed countries, the big economies. Concept proposal developed and approved. Brief sheets are available in 3 different languages, as in Spanish, French, and English. Broad regional civil society endorsed, definitely yes. Draft indicators developed, as in what should be done and what are the minimum thing that needs to be adhered to, minimum objective that needs to be obtained or ascertained. National Coordinating Organization, definitely yes. Review for toolkit under development, and global inventory launch, June 2008. Website under consideration, as the case might be. What are we talking about? NCOs are National Coordinating Organization. Every government, every federal government will have their own policies as far as how to mitigate a disaster management. So it's on the national level, it can be on the local NGO level, proven organizational capability, competencies and experience of disaster risk reduction, members committee, active member of regional and national network, good working relationship with governments and others, expression of interest in NCO roles, commitment to working in transparent participatory matter, access to internet facility, possible alternatives, national research, academia, body, what we are looking into it as on when on basis. Let me give it to you the brief benefits of participation at the local level and at the national level. Local level, it is educating people, raising awareness, strengthening local voices at the national platform, giving voice to their opinion, giving meaning to what their concerns the most, indirectly supporting mobilization of resources. Definitely is opportunity to share information, the best practices that has been available across the globe and what has been adhered at the local level. Increased coordination, build coalition for joint action. On the national level is strengthening the capabilities of public policy advocacy. Definitely this is where you need to build referendum, use of empirical evidences to mobilize resources, identify common issues, challenges, opportunities. National voice has to be heard, the nation's conscious needs to be adhered to. Raise profile, utility of national networks and alliances, build consensus and coalitions across every level. Strengthen public accountability by measuring progress. This is what is very important. The implementation methodology. What are we looking into it? We are not looking only on the number of work that has been done, number of relief work that has been done, but the quality of relief work is also to be very important. So yes, quantitative data and qualitative data are much more required. As for Hyogo framework, um framework analysis. Now that is what we are looking into it. So review, survey the template, and probably build template with the passage of time. Build indicators out there. National Coordinating Organization, NCO, support, training resources, toolkit, key information, stakeholder survey, getting a process of receiving feedback, analysis, mapping result, make it much more stringent, streamline everything, all the process that goes around it. You look, this is how it looks like it as we go around it, from global network to international NGOs, from international NGOs to national network gets connected to the local NGOs. This is how the cobweb of help, resource mobilization, relief work is being done, coordinated at every fashion. That is what we are looking into, the civil society organization, the national non-governmental organization. What are we looking? How do we work around it? This matters. This is how it figures around here. It's a cobweb where everybody is an equal partner, where everybody knows what is to be done, where everybody is passing on the information as it is being generated, the feedback thereby. And this will only not only help the communities which are affected, but also build form a sort of referendum altogether as to what needs to be done and how it can be going around it. Remember, if you look at very closely in this, what you are seeing in your screen, it's a two-way communication. So it's not only been relief being provided, rescue being provided, what has been required, as in feedback that has been communicated time and again. That is most important. So we have to give informations either way. So now, critical role for civil society, the first responder, the person who is there at the vicinity who can help the victim are the first responder. Remember, the first responder may not be qualified person at all. Probably there's a medical emergency. He or she can help the first basic things, but they are not very competent, right? But definitely their small help goes a long way in saving life. So yes, as a civil society, what should be the role of first responder? Establish presence, working relationships, access to poor and vulnerable group, relevant experiences, skills and knowledges, ability to raise awareness, harness indigenous knowledge and resources, effective demand, pull factor, downward public accountability, foster local ownership, facilitate dialogue, feedback. That is what we are looking into it, because this will build transparency. Transparency will bring trust. Trust will ensure partnership approaches. So yes, this is how we should be going across. So what is a global platform for disaster reduction? So International Society for Disaster Reduction System is supposed to respond to the vulnerability. People, the increased vulnerability of, if we can probably reduce vulnerability, changing nature of some hazard, increasing demand and for support and capacity building, need for greater inclusiveness, more coherences, more political space and funding as the case might be. Another milestone to build is the risk reduction movement. What is our objective? Our objective is to reduce risk, if possible eliminate disaster. If possible, can we eliminate disaster? To a certain extent yes, but natural disaster, absolute no. So focus on nations, focus on vulnerable community. The instrument is Hyogo Framework for Action 2005, which is still a relevant thing, and the vehicle is a strengthened International Society for Disaster Reduction System movement. With this, I come to an end of this presentation. Thank you for watching this video till the end.